You are welcome to AG 304, Statistics and Field Experimentation. Study Section 3, Measures of Central Tendency, the Mean and the Median. Introduction. The difference means that will be treated in this video clip are also measures of central tendency, in the sense that the value tends to lie centrally within a set of data arranged according to magnitude, that is in ascending order. Now, measures of central tendency, especially the mean, is highly useful in our daily research activities. Now, the arithmetic mean, weighted arithmetic mean, geometric mean, and the harmonic mean will be the topic of discussion. Learning outcome. At the end of this study section, you should be able to calculate different measures of mean, and you should be able to calculate different measures of median for grouped and ungrouped data. Now, measures of central tendency. Now, let's pick the mean first. Now, average are also measures of tendency, since the value tends to lie centrally within a set of data arranged, provided the data are arranged in the order of magnitude. And by so doing, measures of tendency can be described as a number of value that is representative of other numbers or values by bringing the set of data towards the center. The popular measures of central tendency are the mean or arithmetic mean, the median, and the mode. Now, the arithmetic mean, or simply called the mean, is the sum of all the observations divided by the number of observations in the sample. Now, the mathematical representation of the arithmetic mean, so to say, is as we have on the board. We have it for the grouped data, and we equally have it for the ungrouped data. Now, classification of data. Now, let's consider the example given on the board. This is a table that is showing the monthly earnings of a particular set of workers, and we have obtained they equally give the midpoint to be these values and the number of workers in terms of their frequencies as what we have in this column. And for this column simply means that we multiply the midpoint, that is the mid value, by the frequency. And if we multiply 30 by 120, that is how we arrive at 3,600. 35 by 152, we have 5,320, and so on to the bottom of the table. And when we get to the bottom of the table here, this is the sum of the sum of the data that we have in that column, and this is the sum of the frequencies as presented in the column. Now, the midpoint was calculated for the earnings, since it is continuous variable, and then hence we have it as the lower limit, that is the lower limit, and the upper limit, that is lower limit plus the upper limit divided by 2, and that was how we arrived at this, that is 27.5 plus 32.5, then divided by 2 will give you 30. Now, if you want to get the arithmetic mean here, then we have summation Fn all over summation F. That is, this is our summation F, and this is the summation Fm. Then we have it as this. Then we have it to be summation F divided by summation Fm divided by summation F. That is 431,150 divided by 6,291. And from there we have it to be 68.5 riyals. That is the units of the money. Don't forget we are considering pennies. Now the weighted arithmetic mean. Now, just like that of the normal arithmetic mean, the formula follows the same suit, and we have it as this. Just that the weight will be multiplied by the observation. Now let's consider the example that we have on the board here. Now, in the year 2012, 3 terminal examinations were conducted for LAUTECH staff school children. If the second term score of one of the candidates was weighted twice as much as first and third term exam was priced as much as his first. Now, we are required to calculate the weighted arithmetic mean of the child. If the candidate has 80, 75, 70, that's 80, 75, and 70 in his first, second, and third term respectively, then hence we have it as our weighted average now will be 80, which is for the first term. Then we have that to be 1 because it has already been given there in the question. Then the second term is 75, then the third term is 70. So the first term is 1, you multiply it by 1. The second term, you multiply it by 2. And the third term, you multiply it by 3. Then all over 1 plus 2 plus 3. And hence we have it as 440 divided by 6. Then we have is weighted, that is the weighted mean of the candidate scores for first, second, and third term respectively to be 73.3. Now we have what is called geometric mean. Now, instead of adding the observations and dividing by the total number, for geometric mean, the observations are only multiplied and the nth root of the product is what is termed geometric mean. Note that geometric mean is always less than the arithmetic mean. And what we have on the board now is the geometric mean of n positive value is often defined as the nth term root, just like I explained earlier. And the geometric mean of a set of positive numbers, that is x1, x2, up to Sn, is calculated as, is given by this. It's given by this, where n is the total number of items. For example now, let's consider this. The geometric mean of 2, 4, 8, and 64 is given by this. So our n is the total number of the observation, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we arrive at this 4. You substitute it here. Now, square roots of the multiplication of the 4 given values, and we have 8 as our geometric mean. Geometric mean is also used in calculating the mean of ratios. This is equally an example to have better understanding of the subject. Now the following is the household expenditure for a particular month in 1,000 naira per day. Just like we have here, this is the expenditure, we have the number of families, we have the mean value, we have the log of the mean values, and we have the mean value, the log of the mean values being multiplied by the frequencies here. That is the frequency 8 times the log of the mean value. Then you have this, and so on. Now, this is the sum of the multiplications of frequency and the log of the x values. And this, we have the sum. We have the sum of the multiplications of the frequencies and the log of x values, and the sum, that is the sum of the frequencies. So we get this, then we divide it by, that's using this formula for geometric mean, for calculating ratios, mean of ratios. So we have summation f, log of x, then all over summation f. Then we arrive at this, then at the end of the day we have this. Now, from here now, you now get the antilog of this value. Your calculator can be used for that purpose, or you check that in your 4-figure table. Then we have the value to be this. Now, another mean that is important to take cognitions of is the harmonic mean. And the harmonic mean of a set of n numbers is referred to as the reciprocal of the arithmetic mean of the reciprocal of the numbers. Just like we have it mathematically here. We have it as this, that is n, the summation of the inverse of the numbers. This I. So from here now, we can divide both sides. We can cross multiply. So after cross multiplying, then we have our harmonic mean to be this. You have it as h m, that to be equals to n all over summation of I all over si. So just like we have in this example. Now take for instance the harmonic mean of the numbers 4, 8 and 10 is given by this, using this formula. Then we have it to be this. Then also another example gives it as if a motorcyclist travels 150 kilometers each day for 5 days at speeds of 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60 kilometers per hour respectively. His average speed can be calculated using the harmonic mean as this, following the same suit. Now you pick the speed for all the days. That's what you have as the denominator here. Then the inverse. And then the total number of days in question. That is 5. That's how we have this. Then you divide both sides. And then you divide the n value over this. Then we have it as 34.48 kilometers per hour. Now the measure of median for ungrouped data. Now, given the set of numbers that we have on the board, that is this set of numbers. Now, we can rearrange the set of numbers in ascending order, that is from the least to the highest value, that's 17 to 44. Now, having arranged the given numbers in ascending order, just like I said earlier, now, if you count the total number of the observations, they are 21. And of course, they are 21. And of course, this is an odd number. So which means by the time we divide, the whole data into 2, we will have 1 left at the middle. That is, we count 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This and that. So 31 is our median, and that was how we arrived at 31. Now the remaining observation would be 20. Having removed 1 from it, and this makes it even number. Now, by so doing, it means that we have 2 numbers at the middle, and the average of the 2 numbers will then be obtained. That is 30 plus 31 divided by 2. So the median here will be 30.5. So assuming the given numbers sums up to 20 observations. Now the measure of median for grouped data. Now don't forget, we just finished talking about the measure of median for ungrouped data, and now we are considering that for the grouped data. And I wish to tell you here that we have two methods in which we can use to measure median value for group data. And the first method is what they have on the board, that is using the cumulative frequency curve. Now, using the same set of data, the class band, now having obtained the class boundary, now we pick the upper class boundary, and that is what we have on our x-axis here. And the cumulative frequency will be on the vertical axis. Now, we have some major steps to achieving this. But the first step to take is to divide the total number of observations, that is the number of frequencies, to divide it by 2. And having divided, we have 20 for everything that we have here. For the number of data, we have 20, then you divide it by 2, then we have 10. So it is that 10 that you look for on the cumulative frequency axis, that is the y-axis. So you now draw a line from that 10. You draw a line from 10 to touch the curve. So from that place, then you drop it down. Any value obtained here makes it the median, and that is 30.5. Now, this summarizes the first method. Then the second method is the use of formula to calculate our median. Now, considering this table, now this is the formula for calculating the median, where f is the total frequency, then f naught is the sum of the frequency of all classes that are before the median class, and where f is the total frequency and f naught is the sum of the frequencies just before the median class, and f1 is the frequency of the median class, and c that we have here is the median width, and L1 that we have here is referred to as the lower class boundary of the median. So just substitute the value here. Now the lower class boundary is 28 of the median. This is 28. So you substitute it here. This is the lower class boundary. This is the upper class boundary for the median class. Just like I said, now we substitute the total frequency is 20. So we have 20 divided by 2. And that's how we arrive at this 10 here. Then minus the sum of the frequencies just before the median class. So we have 1 plus 3 plus 5. That is 9. That's why we have this. Then the frequency class, the median class. The median class, the frequency there is 3. Then we have this. Then times 4. So C, which is the class width, is obtained by subtracting the lower class boundary from the upper class boundary of the median class, the one I underlined here. So we have it to be 32.5 minus 38.5. So that is 4. That's how we got this form. So then do the mathematical analysis here. Then we have the median to be 20.83. with this, we have come to the end of study section 3, that is the measures of central tendency, and we have basically talked about the mean and the methods of calculating the median. So by now, I believe that you should be able to calculate the different measures of mean, and also you should be able to calculate the different measures of median for good and ungood data. I enjoin you to go over the video clip again and study it and listen diligently to be able to have better understanding of all that are contained. Thanks for listening.